I have a treat for you today. I'm Joseph. This is Input English. In recent days, I've made several videos about trip planning, and if you followed those videos, you would know that I live in Northern California, but I've chosen to go toward the east into the desert Southwest. That trip is still planned, the planning is still ongoing, but last night I was thinking how ironic it is that I live in a destination location that is Northern California, but I'm planning on going to a different location. A little ironic. I'm not the only one that does that. There are people that live in Paris or London or Los Angeles who go to other places because they want something different, something entertaining. And that's what's at work here. So last night, when I was thinking about that, I looked at the weather report to see if it would be conducive to make videos today, and if so, where? So when I say if so, where, you might wonder, well, here. Well, the Bay Area has a bunch of microclimates. And so if you are in one location, the conditions will be whatever they are, but another place, maybe an hour's drive away, will be dramatically different. This very much came into play when we first moved to the San Jose area. I had taken a position, a job, and so we moved household and we moved into the area, but the house that we rented had no air conditioning. We were concerned, but the owner reassured us that it would be okay. It would be okay, perhaps because he was not in that house when it gets hot. We did learn to adapt, but one of the ways we adapted on the weekends when we were going to be home is we would look at the weather report. And if it was going to be dreadfully hot in Morgan Hill, and we had no way of cooling the house, then the question arose, where could we go? The answer usually boiled down to two locations. One of two locations, either the coast or the city. Now, when somebody living in the Bay Area says the city, they usually mean San Francisco. If it's hot in Morgan Hill, say July, and you're at risk to be miserable because of the heat, and you travel to San Francisco, you're probably going to have a cool or maybe even a cold day. One of the coldest experiences I had was going to a concert in July in San Francisco. I had not brought a jacket and I froze. Coming to the coast is another way to avoid the heat because it's usually much cooler here. That's very much the case right now. It's probably 10 degrees cooler here than it was at the house. The house is maybe 15 miles away. So today I'm at the Wharf, the municipal wharf in Santa Cruz. Now, this is not the first wharf that they built in Santa Cruz. Wharfs built near this location in Santa Cruz date back to the mid-1800s. This is actually the sixth wharf that has been built near this location. The economy of the area, the activities of the area have evolved over the years. 100 years ago, canning sardines was a big industry in this area. The Monterey Bay was rich in sardines at that time. Catching them was easy, and there were factories here in Santa Cruz as well as across the bay in Monterey. The sardine cannery near this location was torn down about 100 years ago. There was rail service to this location, and this particular wharf was built with the intent that it be a dock for steamships to come in, so they created this as a deep water port. So we're going to take a walk down the wharf, and I'm going to show you some of the sights. I'm not sure how today is going to evolve. It is a little after 9 o'clock in the morning, beautiful blue skies, light breeze. So I may have an opportunity to make more than one video today. If you follow this channel, you may know that I make one video each day and upload it to YouTube. I do this because I know I have a bunch of people who look forward to watching those videos each day. I know that because they told me that in the comment section. I also try to make videos ahead of schedule, so this video will not be published for the better part of a week. I have videos made ahead of schedule. In order to get ahead of schedule, that means I should make more than one video in a day. That will get me ahead. Great. So making 2 videos today might be desirable. And then I got to thinking last night, maybe I could have a trifecta. Okay, what's that word? A trifecta is a term of art from horse racing. And that's where someone places a bet and correctly predicts the first, second, and third place winners in a given race. If you get all 3 right, that's a trifecta winner. In day-to-day, when people talk about a trifecta, they talk about 3 successes, 3 wins. And so if I were to make 3 videos in one day, I would consider that a trifecta. So this is the view from the wharf. As I pan to the left, the boardwalk is going to come into view. You can see a bunch of amusement rides in this area. I plan on walking later over to the boardwalk and see what we can see. They don't open till noontime. I would like to get there before the crowds show up. This municipal wharf was severely damaged by big waves a couple of months ago during the winter. They had a surprisingly large couple of waves hit the end of the wharf and destroy it. It was quite the news event because there were 3 construction workers on site when the wharf collapsed, when that section of the wharf collapsed, and they had to be rescued. I heard of no injuries, and we know for sure there was no loss of life. There was one piece of heavy equipment that appeared to have been lost, although perhaps they've been able to recover that subsequently. I was surprised there's parking right here on the wharf. It's a big enough wharf that they actually have paid parking right here. So what I've discovered so far is that the municipal wharf is a pleasant tourist location. I've walked past several restaurants that look rather inviting. They tend toward seafood, and it looks pretty good. It also looks a little on the expensive side, but fresh seafood has its value. There are also souvenir stands. There are places you can buy t-shirts and little keepsakes. I chose to come here early in the day on a weekday so as to mitigate crowds. If you go to places that attract a lot of people, you can anticipate that you might encounter big crowds. I did a video on that. How do you cope with crowds? And so I used some of my own advice. I came here early in the day on a weekday so as to mitigate problems with too many people. What I'd like to do is get out toward the end and see what it looks like where the pier was damaged by the big waves. I stopped the camera briefly because I had a very pleasant experience. I'm walking along and a couple stopped me and asked what I was doing, asked if I was vlogging, and I admitted, yes, indeed. So we had a great discussion. I told him about this channel, and in exchange, he told me about his channel. He's going to send me the link so that I can see what kind of work he does on the YouTube platform. Okay, well, you might wonder, what are these things? Of course, they're looking up at me wondering what I am, I suppose. These are all sea lions. They've hauled out of the water and it appears they are resting. There are a bunch of different sizes you can see. Some big ones and some small ones. So this is the end of the municipal pier, and from that edge there, it used to extend quite a long ways, but owing to big waves, that section beyond this was destroyed. A lot of sea lions underneath the wharf. Along these ledges, the sea lions haul out of the water. This view behind me is the waterfront cliff to the west of Santa Cruz. On the point there is a lighthouse, a historical lighthouse. There are two historical lighthouses here in Santa Cruz. There's this one, and then there's one on the other side to the east of here at the current harbor. So this is a view down the municipal pier toward the city, toward Santa Cruz itself. I think I chose very wisely in terms of timing this visit. It's very quiet, save for the cacophony created by the sea lions. They are quite noisy. It's too early for a meal here, so I'm planning on walking over to the boardwalk. And so if you're interested in taking a look at the boardwalk at Santa Cruz, that'll be on a subsequent video. I invite comments below, and if you like videos like this, be sure to click on this one next. See you soon.